Welcome to If I Only Had 10 Minutes. Thrilled to have Desiree Fish from Roblox with us. Desiree, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I love Jane Randall, and I am a communications professional for the last 30 years. I think at this point, I have been at Roblox, which is a gaming technology company, for the last 5 years. And before that was at TripAdvisor. And before that, spent 14 years at American Express.
Wow.
But I'm originally from Texas, live in New York City, and love to travel. And what else do you want to know? Is that good?
That's good. That's good. Perfect. Um, so let me ask you the first question. When do you think is the right moment for a company to hire someone on a fractional basis?
I think anytime you need extra hands and an extra brain. So,
All the time, in my opinion. But
yeah,
anyway, go ahead. I'm
exactly right,
biased.
exactly. So, I I had a team when I first joined Roblox of only 3 people, and it was insane. We were just going public, and I one of the first things I did in the first week or two of joining is put an org chart together and start,
Right,
deciding what kind of heads I needed and what kind of functions I needed, et cetera.
right,
And we
right.
needed everything at that point, right? So I think that if I would have known or thought about this 5 years ago,
Yeah.
that would have been a perfect opportunity
Sure, sure.
to bring in senior leadership while I was looking for
Yeah.
the people to fill those roles, like somebody for financial comms, somebody
Right,
for corporate comms, somebody for internal comms.
right,
That would have actually been a perfect situation.
right. No, makes perfect sense. Um, So you work in the tech field, so obviously AI comes up all the time. What is one myth about AI and comms that you'd like to bust once and for all?
One, that it's going to take our jobs. I think
Yeah,
that's the so
that's a good
we
one.
Yeah, so we use AI as a company for so many things, for our safety moderation,
Hmm.
because we are a global company with over 100 million users every day. And, to
Awesome.
moderate the platform for, chat and conversation and content cannot be done by humans. So you have to have AI for that. But we also have human moderators because you need human moderation to do certain things. It's more the skill piece of it, but at the first base layer to get things through the pipeline, AI is helpful for that. But you're always going to need the people. Same with creation. So we're a UGC platform. We create the company creates the technology, but it's all the users out there that take that technology and they create the games. If people don't know what Roblox is, it's just millions of games on our
Yeah.
platform that people have
Right.
created through the technology. And AI has gotten so good that we're able to allow, you take hours and hours and hours for people to create certain scenes or
Sure.
certain, things. But now through AI, you can actually just talk and say, I want to create a purple elephant. And a purple elephant will appear on the, in the dashboard and be able to, you can manipulate it and you can do it through code and everything else. But so I guess what I'm saying is it's additive, but I do think that that's my biggest myth.
If you could teach a master class on something completely unrelated to work, what would it be? And I know the answer, I think.
So I don't know what you think that it would be, but do you think it would be wine?
Hmm.
Okay. So I had thought about it. I love wine over the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. So I didn't grow up drinking wine. My family didn't drink wine. And when I met my husband years ago, he was a big wine connoisseur and I just started falling in love with wine, but I didn't really pay that much attention to it. And he sent me to wine class one
Oh,
day.
that's interesting.
It was like for a present. He sent me to like a wine school.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. And, as an adult, and I started collecting wine, and then I got into a few wine societies. You don't have to know tons, but to appreciate it and to
Sure.
know the difference. So my friends sometimes will, because you can tell the difference between an old world wine and new world wine just by smell and things like that.
Okay.
it's kind of fun. And so, and I do think that I probably would do something like that. But the only other thing I was going to say when I was thinking about it, because I figured you would think wine just because you know me, I think like living life to the fullest. I think I would do a master class on how to live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
So I had lost my husband, and um, he he died like 5 years ago, and I feel like that was my turning point of realizing like this is going to be my year of yes, because I'm
Mhm.
just going to take, life by the horns, because, you can die at any moment, and,
Sure.
you need to do everything. And so I really think also my other master class would probably be a little bit like that. Like, I think it's how to really harness happiness and to live life to the fullest and make sure you enjoy every moment.
We could all use that, so you should think about doing that.
Everyone
Um,
should do a year of yes. Your whole life
everyone,
should be a year of yes.
I will say that I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school, but Lisa Ryan, one of the Comms Collective partners, her mother said never turn down an invitation. And I just thought that was such a good idea, because you're so rarely sorry that you do. Just going back to communications, what do you wish what do you wish leadership knew about communications or thought about communications that they tend not to? Or maybe I
Well,
should say appreciate about communications that they sometimes don't.
what they don't know sometimes is that we need a seat at the table.
Yes.
So I think that, you can add so much more value. When I think about it, before I was on the C-suite and before I had real direct access to the CEO and the other leadership,
Hmm.
I mean, it was like getting scraps. I was
Yeah.
getting like scraps of information, and yet expected to do my job as still the head of
Right.
communications,
Right.
but I
Right.
just
Right.
didn't have a seat at the table. And so to be able to have a seat at the table and be a part of those meetings to get that information, so then you could piece so many things together and come up with, you add so much more value.
Switching gears, what is the most embarrassing moment for you in a meeting or presentation? And what did you do? What would you do differently now?
So I kind of like struggle with this a little bit. But there's one thing that I remember where I was in a meeting and I was not really paying that much attention to what was going on. It was like one of those big kind of boardroom kind of settings, and
Yeah.
I was looking down at my phone that was in my lap. I was like sitting cross-legged, and again, we
Yeah.
were all on tables in front of us, and I was looking down at my phone, and I was texting or doing whatever. I was doing work stuff. It wasn't
Yeah.
personal, but people thought I was sleeping, because when you look down on
Yeah.
you're looking down, it looks like your eyes are closed.
Right. Right. Right.
And so um they didn't call me out for it in the meeting, but afterwards they were like, "Well, and Desiree was sleeping." And I was like, "I wasn't sleeping. What are you talking about?" But so it was kind of like one of those lessons learned.
I
It
like
was
that. That was funny.
embarrassing because I was like, "Oh my God," like people were thinking I wasn't, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention,
Right.
but
Right.
they
Right.
thought I was
Right.
100% not paying attention. So
True.
that's kind of the one thing. I'm sure there's many other things, right? But
That's a good one. That's a really good one. If you could have dinner with any communicator, alive or dead, real or fictional, who do you think it would be? Who do you think you would want to talk to? And I say communicator, but it could be, one of a question I've asked other people is who's the best communicator you've ever seen or know of. So who would you want to meet with?
okay, so I have goosebumps right now because of what I'm going to say is kind of weird, but I'm not religious at all, but I would like to meet Jesus.
Interesting. Okay. Say more.
Um, to me, he's like a seriously good communicator based on the stories
Right, right,
that
right.
you read or hear about. Like again, not religious, but I grew up, going into church and Sunday school and whatever. And, you would hear the stories about, him, and how he communicated and how it like showed people like,
Uh-huh.
you don't know how he did the healing and the things that
Right,
he did, but he kind of like show and tell. So I always say that in communications, like to my team, let's show, not just tell. Like
right,
let's,
right, right,
let's do demos, or let's, show videos or walk people through like our
right.
systems or whatever. Like I think that he was a really great communicator. I don't know. I kind of feel like I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear
No,
necessarily.
I think it's, I had no preconceptions. I think that's really interesting. I've had lots of people say lots of different things that are
Have you ever
fascinating.
had Jesus before?
I've never had Jesus before, so thank you for that. Okay, final question. If you
Yes.
had an extra 10 minutes in your day, what would you do?
So the first thing that comes to mind is a 10-minute class on Peloton.
I, that's good.
So I don't know if you're a Peloton app user, but I do
No.
like the bar classes and
Yep,
Pilates and
yep,
strength
same.
training, the 10-minute arms and
Yeah,
light weights. I'm kind of addicted. And there are times where, because I like to work out in the morning.
yep, same.
And because if I don't do it in the morning, it's not going to happen.
Correct.
And sometimes, like, because as soon as I wake up, I look at my phone. And so I get sucked into emails from work, or maybe there's early morning meetings or whatever. And so sometimes I don't have enough time
Yeah,
to do the workout, and I'll have to do like a 20-minute workout or
right.
versus a 45 or whatever. And I always wish I had just 10 more minutes, and I like it. So that's what I would say.
I think that's perfect. That is a perfect thing to say and a perfect way to end. Desiree, thank you so much for being with us. It's always fun, and we could go on for another 10 to 15 minutes for sure.